is all about the idea of the founders that have given rise not only to the different realms and densities that exist, that consciousness is able to inhabit and incarnate into, but also the various forms, the various bodies that exist within each of these realms, within each of these dimensions, within each of these densities. So first and foremost, you consider to be Source, which is the dreamer of them. In order for Source to create the infinite expressions of creation that exist, it must densify different dimensions of its overall vibratory state. So in other words, different universes have different founders, will separate each of these unique color frequencies and will begin to sculpt them into realities. It will be the first level representing the level of the founders. The 10th level, the densest level, representing the physical reality expression of that particular universe. Because as soon as Source gives rise to founders, it gives rise to duality. The inverse expression of these 10 levels will be even denser than what you consider to be that manifest universe. Before the founders create beings, the founders will create matrices. They will create reality complexes. They will create, when these beings interact with you, sometimes they are physical in nature, when the veil is incredibly thin. But for the most part, they're energetic. They'll visit you. Founders will give rise to these types of expressions first, specifically because these basic forms of expression contain very, you could say, malleable, very adjustable expressions of DNA. The first animals were not necessarily physical. They were energetic animals. And the idea is the physical dimension to them was developed later. The longer these energetic forms spend on a planetary surface, the denser they become. Each soul that incarnated into the idea of an animal form would possess different proportions of what you would call yin or yang energy. But upon solidification, a biological sex was created based on the polarity of the soul, then began to create bodies for themselves to incarnate in directly. They drew from the planet bodies that were of the physical reality that they had given rise to, but also bodies that were capable of expressing the higher connection to that source mind that the founders originally emanated from. Worlds. This is the origin of your species, but it's not limited to your species. This is the origin of all extraterrestrial species. Your species was created in sort of a bubble reality between non-physical and physical. Not only created Earth and its forms, but also created humanity and then became humanity. With a lower animal form, the biology, the body's not sophisticated enough to handle the entirety of the founder's energy. Therefore, the founder must, we'll talk about how the founders enter into reality and give rise to the idea of planetary expressions. The entry point for a founder into a material universe, there are what you would consider to be solar extraterrestrials, solar extra-dimensionals. These beings, if the sun is the higher self of your planet, Sirius is the higher spirit of your planet. So they channeled the energies of Sirius into the different pyramids that were created. When you think of a kingly being who emulates Christ consciousness, you are tuning into an archetypal energy that reflects the types of beings that occupy Regulus. So, as beings enter in through Polaris, they are able to incarnate into Sirius. They're able to incarnate into the Pleiades. They're able to, the beings of Arcturus, take the experiences that each form of consciousness within the galaxy has had, and they crystallize it into different patterns and frequencies of light. New